Welcome, everybody, to the More Listings Mastermind. I'm your host, Robert Weichelt. Each week we meet here, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And you guessed it, we're talking about more listings. Everything we talk about is about getting more listings. When you get more listings, you get more buyers. When you get more listings, you get more sellers. When you get more listings, you get more investors. And when you get more listings, you get more agents to help you with houses, growing your team. And that's exactly what we're doing. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I always like to start off with a quote. This is the quote I love it. I have successories all over my office. I have Abe Lincoln, Vince Lombardi, and I just love getting fired up, especially when you're prospecting. So remember this, real estate. This is a real estate quote if I've ever seen one. The only place success comes before work in the dictionary. That's quoted by Vince Lombardi. And I love saying that quote because so many agents, they're like, oh, it's not working, but we need to roll up our sleeves and we need to get dirty. We need to get in there and we need to make things happen. So with that said, I love starting with that quote. So who am I? My name is Robert Weichelt. I'm the host of the More Listings Mastermind, along with my beautiful bride, Carla. And of course, we've got a lot of great guests each week. Each week we meet Wednesday at 1 p.m. I started in the real estate industry in 1986. For those of you that need a calculator to figure out how long that is, that's going on 40 years. This February 14th, 2026 will be 40 years in the business. Wow. I've helped thousands of sellers, countless agents achieve success in every type of market, ups and downs and all arounds, REO, traditional buyers. I mean, the markets always are changing. We need to make sure we're working that. As a broker, trainer, mentor, my mission is simple: empower others to grow, win, and lead with purpose. I help agents, bottom line, take more now listings. Your database, and we're going to talk a lot about database today. We're talking about COI. But I want to work with sellers that want to sell today. Then I'll work on the sellers that want to sell tomorrow. We want now business. For example, FSBO, expired, pre-foreclosure. Those are just a few of the top of the lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree. But when you work with the notice of default and the notice of trustee sales, the default market, you're going to align yourself for future business. Future business is REO and distressed properties. Working with the pre-foreclosures will align you and position you for the post-foreclosure market, and that's the REO market. I just took a new REO listing this morning. It went live, and it's out in Campo. A lot of the REO listings start kind of out on the peripheral, and then they work their way into the city. So pay attention to the notice of defaults in your market. Now, I always like to start off with the 5 habits that are going to help you grow your real estate business starting today. Number 1, lead generation, no exceptions. You need to block out 90 minutes every single day. And I tell you what, prospecting on the weekends has been very powerful for me. If I was to just eliminate prospecting during the week and prospect Saturday and Sunday when no one else is prospecting, the sellers are so ready to talk to you about their home. So block out 90 minutes every day. Put it on your time block schedule. When you're prospecting, you need to track and measure. So number 2 is tracking and measuring your numbers. How many calls you've made, how many contacts you've made, how many leads you've made, and also how many listings. And you really need to track and measure. Number 3 is set appointments daily. If you're not setting appointments every single day with either a buyer or a seller, that should be a red flag in your business. Number 4, follow up like a pro. The fortune is in the follow-up. We've heard that saying before. It's true. 80% of conversions happen in the follow-up process, not the initial call, but the follow-up process, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 times to follow up. How persistent are you? And number 5, sharpen your skills. You need to role play. I always like to say this. Tom Brady didn't roll out of bed and go out and win a bunch of Super Bowls. He studied, he role played, he ran the plays, he practiced. He watched top agent content. He watched the other pros do it. So we need to review that every single day. So the quote I like to say when it comes to the 5 habits is do something today that your future self will thank you for. I love that. So, who am I calling? How do we get a hold of the FSBOs? How do I get a hold of the expireds? How do I get a hold of pre-foreclosures? The lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree. Well, Carla will put in the chat box a link that we've put together. It's a 14-day free trial. But one thing I want to tell you, don't sign up today unless you're ready, because that 14 days goes quick, and next thing you know, they're going to want you to pay. So word of caution, Sign up only when you're ready. And Carlo put that in the chat box. Thank you, dear, for doing that. My Plus Leads has been fantastic. It's similar to Land Voice. It's similar to RedX. I'm just telling you who I use. Okay. So another tool I use is iList. iList cash offers. A lot of sellers out there that I talk to on a daily basis all think they want a cash offer until they see that cash offer. So sign up for iList, get free. It's another 14-day free trial. But again, if you're not going to be having conversations with sellers, don't sign up yet. Sign up only when you're ready to start prospecting. Sign up for My Plus Leads and sign up for iList for the cash offers platform. So with that said, I always like to bring this up. And this is just a transaction we did. We put it in escrow. We're getting ready to close. 14 days on the market. 8,981 views, just under 9,000 views in 14 days. That's huge. That's a huge number. 789 saves. That translates into open house traffic. And the number one thing we need to do as agents when we get a listing is drive traffic to our site so we can determine what kind of traffic we should see at our open houses. Let me give you an example. This is one of our partners up in Menifee, Kathy Ryan. She had 884 people through the doors. That is a big day for sure. She ended up having, I think, 9 listings just from that open house. That's huge. We average anywhere between 200 and 400, depending on the property. But at the end of the day, it starts with pricing. If you're pricing it high, expect less traffic. But if you price it below market, get people fired up, you're going to get a line around the block. And I tell you, it is the only way to fly. Now, a lot of people I talk to say they meet with sellers, they drive to their home. It takes them an hour. Lawrence, you're in a high traffic area. It can take you an hour to get to a home. You're in the home for an hour, and then you're another hour coming home after not getting the listing because the seller is absolutely insane with their purchase price goals or sales price goals. So with that said, instead of driving 3 hours or spending 3 hours on a seller appointment, set up your listing appointments via Zoom. Take a 3 to 5 minute Zoom call and pre-qualify that seller. See if they qualify to work with you. I've been doing Zoom listings since March of 2020. It's the most efficient and effective way by far. And you can see a little picture there that Carla put together. That's me taking 4 listings on the beach in Cabo. The only thing you don't see it on the other side of my computer is a nice cold Corona. My point is your business effective and efficient? Think about it. So you want an efficient, effective way of working with sellers. You want to learn how to call the FSBOs expired, pre-foreclosure. You want to learn how to use the cash offers platform. I encourage you, use this QR code, reach out to me, schedule a time. Let's take a look under the hood of your business and let's get you more listings. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Let's get started with our program. I want to introduce you to Lawrence King, Richie Sorensen, and Tim Yates. We're going to talk about working your database to take more listings. So I'm going to undo my screen and we're going to have a nice conversation with our panel and see what we can do to help you get more listings. So let me stop sharing my screen and let's start with you, Tim Yates. Tim Yates, why don't you do this for us? Who's Tim Yates?
Well, Tim Yates is a guy that's passionate about helping others, and he is somebody that loves building and creating businesses and business opportunities for other people. I actually created an estate planning firm almost a decade ago. We're actually more of a technology firm now, as you know, Robert. About a decade ago with my wife, Carrie, who's our firm's lead attorney. And we've been really focusing on disrupting the estate planning industry, working closely with real estate professionals. A lot of times people will ask me, Tim, why don't you just market and advertise, your estate planning firm, trusts and wills, SEO, do all that kind of stuff. Why do you spend your time actually building relationships with real estate professionals? Well, the answer to that is simple. Number one, real estate professionals are already the boots on the ground. They already have a seat at the table with homeowners. And we know homeowners are the ones that need a living trust and a will more than anybody. Specifically here in California. let's talk some numbers. This is a number that a lot of people are shocked by, but I'm not, because this is what I do. So in the state of California, roughly 87.3% of all homeowners do not have their homes in a trust. Okay, 87.3. That means 9 out of 10 people in an agent's database or in their farm does not have their home in a trust. And that's one of the reasons why we have our probate cases are so high. If I look at, there's 58 counties in California. Every county's court calendar is backlogged with probate cases. And it's because nobody has their homes in a trust. And to me, there's two reasons behind that. Number one is just lack of education and understanding. People, when they buy a home, they go through escrow, they close it. How do you want to take title? A husband and a wife, joint tenants, tenants in common, whatever. They don't understand what it means to actually put the title in the name of your living trust, number one. So there's lack of education and understanding. And number two is the cost. Traditionally, an estate plan in California is going to start at about 2,500 and go up from there. And so our whole solution was simple. Number one, let's educate everyone on why they need a living trust and how do they get one. Make it simple and easy utilizing technology, but with human beings supporting the whole thing. And two, making it affordable. All of our estate plans are under $1,000 for the same exact stuff, right? So we've utilized technology. We're on the cutting edge of technology to ensure that the process is seamless, whether you're my next door neighbor or you live 1,000 miles away from me. And we've developed a system that we're excited to roll out to the agents. Like I said, we call it the legacy listing system, and it's going to shows agents how to utilize our company and our services to get more listings. Because here's the reality of it. If I can help a real estate agent or a team get more listings, guess what's going to happen for me? I'm going to get more trusts. So to me, it's that perfect relationship that's been lacking in the industry for a long time. And as you know, Robert, the best part about this too is what we're offering and what we're doing with our legacy listing system. We're not selling anything. It's 100%. It's all free. Right? I'm looking at developing relationships with real estate professionals that are as passionate as I am about building a business that helps more people, makes a real impact. And I'm telling you, if I was on the real estate side of this thing, I would jump all over this because I designed it and built it for both of us to benefit. So there you go.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, you know what? You hit the nail on the head. 9 out of 10 homeowners don't have a living trust. And the reason why we're bringing that up is because today's conversation is about circle of influence. And the biggest thing is it gives us another reason to reach out to our database. Not, hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest every day to nauseum, but it's another tool to have a conversation with your clients or future client for that matter, but your database to reach out to them and have a really good conversation. So we're going to dive into that. And Mike, it looks like you've raised your hand. You have a question for Tim?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Tim, do you specialize in a certain particular area in California? I know probably down in San Diego. You have anything up in the LA market?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, with our system, the way we operate, we're open for, we work with people all over California. So even though I'm physically housed here in San Diego, a lot of our clients, we actually beta tested a system that maybe we could talk a little bit about during the last holiday season with a bunch of agents up in Cupertino. So we're everywhere. As long as you have internet and connection and we can see each other and talk like this, yeah, absolutely. We have the ability to generate and to make it comfortable for all of our clients and your clients too, whether they're 85, 90 years old, all the way to young people. So yeah, absolutely.
And another thing, Mike, it's a great way once you reach out to your clients, whether you can reach out to them starting today and listen, hey, I've got a conversation for you to have. Is your home in a living trust? And I think that 9 out of 10 of those homeowners that you talk to are going to say, no, I do not have a living trust. You need to be the go-to guy for everyone in your database, whether it be title, escrow, lender. I need my fence painted. I need carpet. I need tile. I need a roof. I need anything.
Right.
They need to call you first. And this is a great tool to reach out. Now, I think the best thing Tim said there, how much does that cost again, Tim?
It's free.
I mean, I don't know. Last time I checked, that's a pretty good price. And an affordable option to protect somebody's property and not have to go through probate. It's just a great way to get their affairs in order. And so, Tim, thank you so much. Stick around. We're going to have some Q&A for you because I'm telling you what, this is huge. And every Tuesday, you have a webinar you do every Tuesday from 12 to 1. And if you have the information, maybe you can drop it in the chat box so we can invite those folks. They can come hear you deep dive into your what you're doing there. So I thank you very much for being on. So stick around, and we're going to bring you back in. Lawrence King is in the house. Your mother's favorite realtor, I like to call him. Lawrence King, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Oh my goodness, man. It's so good to have you on. So let's tell the audience, and then we'll dive into the circle of influence. Let's tell the audience, who's Lawrence King?
Lawrence King's a father, obviously a son, and I'm a realtor and an investor. I invest in properties as well. And I'm actually a coach within the Alliance group here. So
Yeah.
I'm a sphere of influence coach here within our group. I'm glad Tim brought up the whole situation about the trust combo. That's a great reason to reach out to part of your circle of influence, sphere of influence. But I coach on this every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on different ways to reach out to your sphere or different ways to tap into this thing that everybody has on their hip every single day. Right?
I love it. I love it. We're going to tap into some of the tools that you're working with, and you've been really having some good time with your social media and your AI, man. I tell you, I can't wait to pick your brain on that, my friend. Well, good. Well, good. Let's stay with the circle of influence. Let's talk about some of the things you discuss on your coaching call on Thursday, and feel free to drop that information in the chat, and we'll certainly share it with our folks listening on YouTube and also Spotify. But drop that information on when you get a chance. So tell us a little bit more about the things you cover in your coaching sessions on Thursday.
So every Thursday we give different ideas, and we basically mastermind and look for people, for other agents' advice. I bring a topic. One being, what's the best way to reach out to your sphere? People that haven't heard from you in a month, 2 months, a year. What's the best way to reach out to them, and how do you structure that call when you reach out to them, as far as not sounding so salesy, right? Meaning you want to get you when you make that first call to someone that you haven't talked to in a while. Basically, you're asking them for their birthday, right? So instead of me just saying, "Hey, Robert, ring ring, how you been doing?" Blah blah blah. Who's your favorite realtor?
Who's my favorite realtor?
Yes,
Well, of course you are.
great. That's all I needed to know, Robert. The reason why I'm calling right now today is, when is your birthday?
976. Yeah.
You been doing good?
Yeah.
Great, Robert. I'll make sure I'll be in touch. I just wanted to update my database to make sure I had your birthday, man. I want you to have a great week. Reach out if you ever need anything. All right.
Another touch point. Huge. Go
So
on.
if you don't have their birthday, that's a reason to reach out, right? One, I'm updating my CRM system to send them a birthday text message and email.
Mhm.
Two, I started that call with business first and ended on personal last. So when they hang up that phone, they're having a good feeling about why I called. It's not, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you know anybody looking to sell or buy? No, not right now. Okay, have a good day. And hanging up the phone. Now that feeling is like, oh, the only reason why they called me is to ask me if I had some money to sell or buy, right?
Mhm.
So I teach on that, ways of making calls and reasons to reach out. Hey, Robert, who's your favorite realtor again?
You are, brother.
Awesome. Robert, look, man, I've been doing a lot of things for a couple of my clients, and I just looked at your property, your title, and I'm always trying to make sure I educate some of my past clients. Your property's not in trust. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna send you a contact information on why you should a person that you should reach out to regarding putting your property in a trust. That sound good for you?
You know what? We've been thinking about that for a while. I just haven't really known how to do it.
Talking pieces, different talking pieces. Now I'm finding out also, I'm calling on anniversaries, I'm calling on kids' birthdays. I'm getting all this data and putting it into my CRM so I have a good reason to follow up throughout the entire year. So that's what I'm providing to a lot of these our agents that's coming on
And Lawrence, real
Thursdays.
quick, I think it's important that when the relationship first starts, the last thing you're going to do is go through a whole laundry list of every single question you need. Have that questionnaire put together, answer everything that you can and what you cannot, the most important things like birthdays and anniversaries. Then you can reach out to them and keep filling up that database with information that can help you stay in touch.
This allows me to stay in touch the entire year. It
Yeah.
gives me different topics to ask them about, right? So now I'm top of mind every month, right?
And don't be afraid to ask for real estate, but make sure that's the reason why you're calling is you're just touching base. It's been a while since we've chatted. And if you do it right, you're going to reach out to them multiple times every year. And they know you're a realtor as long as you remind them occasionally, not every time.
Exactly.
Good, good. What else do you guys cover? I know you're covering a lot of things. Some of that, are you doing parties? Are you doing giveaways? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what we're doing also is we're doing events where we're not having well, we do have events for first time home buyers, but
Mhm.
everybody does. Every
Yeah.
realtor has an event for first time home buyer. What they don't have is an event for first time home sellers, right? So we're creating that where it's like I don't know what to do. I want to sell my house, but I have no clue what to do. So now you have a room full of sellers and one realtor, right? So this is just different topics that I cover every Thursday, and I give little hints of things that we're going to cover the next week. So make sure we keep people showing up.
And you know, Lawrence, you can do that not only live in person, but you can do a webinar for first time sellers. You can
Absolutely.
reach out to the database of FISBOs, expireds, pre foreclosure, do a seller webinar every single week. So we have one on our calendar every Thursday at 6 o'clock where we send out every single FISBO expired and pre foreclosure from the week before. We invite them to a seller seminar.
You know what? That's a great idea.
I
I
got a
wrote
few of
that
them.
down. That's a good tip.
Got a few of them.
See, masterminding.
That's what it's all about.
That's it.
So what else you got up your in your bag of tricks?
So on my end, what I also started doing was when I have a listing appointment, like let's say for instance, I got a listing appointment on Monday, which I do, right? This weekend, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and host some open houses in the neighborhood, right? So when I go to that listing appointment, guess what? I have a list of buyers looking in this neighborhood right now, locked and loaded, right? Idea,
Huge.
right?
That's
So
huge.
those are different things that I'm doing during the weekends. I'm doing holiday parties. What else we have? We have some kids events for like Easter and all that stuff. Easter egg hunts. We're doing. We got a ton of stuff we're doing. Like it's way too much to name here, but we got a ton of different ideas that we got. And also here, I'll put the link in the chat for my Sphere of Influence mastermind that's already pre-recorded. It's pretty much from A to Z how to get
Excellent.
started on there. And then every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, buildingtopagents.com is where we have our Sphere of Influence call. I'll
Excellent.
put that in
Hey,
the
one
chat.
thing I want to bring up before I forget, you mentioned a good point. You have a listing appointment coming up on Monday.
Yeah,
Even if you couldn't hold an open house, because some people may think, well, I can't find an open house to do, so that's not going to work for me. You know what you do is you pull up a listing in that area, the same area as that listing appointment. And if you can't hold it open, go out, preview that home, and go out and share it with 50 to 100 neighbors in that neighborhood to let them know that that listing's available. And we have others coming on board. If you know anyone that's going to move into this area, you need to call me right away so we can get them on that waiting list. You need to have conversations because when you go to that listing appointment, whether it be in person or on Zoom, now you have some real dialogue with that seller, letting them know that I've talked to this many homeowners in your neighborhood. I've got a couple other listings coming up. I've got people looking to buy already. You need to get your home on the market so we can get you an escrow right away. So lots of great stuff going on there. That's awesome.
Also, I want to throw in there too, Robert. We didn't mention anything about having a relationship with probate attorneys or attorneys in general, divorce
Yeah.
attorneys. Those are good resources to hit to
And you know
make
what?
sure
I
that
have
you
that
know.
probate attorney, that letter, Lawrence, I shared with you, right? Anyone on this call or listening to this, reach out to me and I'll get you that attorney letter. It's bulletproof. You hit the nail on the head. Attorneys are an untapped market. Most agents don't reach out to attorneys because they're afraid they might ask difficult questions. They might be mean to them. It's like a FISBO and expired. Reach out to them coming from contribution, a reciprocal relationship, And I'm telling you what, attorneys are a huge resource. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Let's go back to Tim real quick. Lawrence, we're going to get back to you in a second. Tim, circle of influence. Walk us through how you would reach out to your database. You're a realtor. You want to reach out to the database. What are some of the bullet points that you want to start the conversation off? Because these guys, they're not estate planning experts. And I know you have some great training. And obviously, the more training you go to, the better you are. But what's something they can do immediately to reach out to their database to see if they're a candidate that might have information on that a living trust?
Well, let me go back to the open house scenario here real quick, because we collected a lot of data from agents that we beta tested our systems with last year, specifically up in the Bay Area and recently here in Southern California. So let me say this one thing. Imagine going to an open house, you're hosting an open house, and you have a sign-in sheet. Most people have a sign-in sheet and other things like that. But here's the thing. Imagine if you were able to tell people, for every person that works with me that I represent, as part of my closing gift to you is I'm going to give you an estate plan. That's my closing gift. Now, let me talk about two things here real quick, why this is the most impactful thing you can ever imagine, okay? Agents, a lot of times you guys will all give a closing gift. There's great one, there's gift baskets, there's Cutco knives. Those are all good things. But imagine if you gave someone an estate plan as a closing gift. What that does now is that connects you to that person for the rest of their lives. Because you are now protecting their home. You're not just an agent that got them into the home. You are now protecting that home and their family and their assets for the rest of their lives. That gives you the now here's the best part, you guys. I told you the average cost for an estate plan in California is $2,500. Imagine this though. If you're one of my partners, you can buy that estate plan for $499. Give them a gift certificate for show them a $2,500 gift certificate. You paid $500 for something that's $2,500 and up. They're going to see that as the most impactful value they've ever received in their life. So that is a game changer. Here's another thing on open houses. This is why I get fired up. I had an agent at Cupertino, got 2 listings this past month because what he did was they had an open house and he was talking to this young couple that came in, first-time home buyers. He tells them about the estate planning opportunity, like, hey, you ever thought about estate plan? And the buyer, the young guy said, you know what? My mom and dad actually don't have a trust. We were actually talking to them about that recently. And long story short, he ended up doing through us, obviously, we got the estate plan. We helped that young buyer's mom and dad with a trust. And then 3 months later, they decided that they were going to sell their property and buy another property. Guess who they used? That agent. So that agent was able to work with people that walked into the house, got into a relationship with their parents because of an estate plan, and then picked up another listing. So again, I got example after example after example. Now, specifically going back to your question, if I'm looking at my database, and there's a lot of people, again, we're all guilty of it, that we haven't called for a long time. Like Lawrence said, there's a lot of great opportunities to call them up. You just have to be creative, but you got to be sincere and you got to be real about it, right? And so, but here's the thing. You can work through your title rep and you can submit your database to your title rep and say, hey, can you pull up a report? Tell me out of all my names in my database, who has their homes in a trust and who doesn't. Get a list from them, and now you can look and see who actually has a trust and who doesn't. So when you call them, you could just call up and say, Roberts, Tim Yates, how are you, man? I know it's been a long time. Hey, listen, there's a couple of things. The reason why I'm calling is this. Recently, again, you use whatever you want. Recently, I had a family member that passed, when they went into probate and they didn't have a trust, and it really scared me because I realized I didn't have a trust in place. And I decided to look to see who else do I know that doesn't have their home in a trust. And I noticed your home's not in a trust. Has that something you ever wanted to talk about or ever thought about, right? So again, you can talk to them about that, but here's the beautiful thing. If you refer them into our system, all of your clients are not going to be spending $2,500 and up. Like I said, the average cost for us for a married couple is $995. A single person is $795. And then we got the $499. partnership special where you can utilize that as a closing gift, or heck, use it for yourself. If your home's not in a trust, you have properties on a trust, man, jump on that opportunity immediately. And then the final thing too is you can tell them, we talked about webinars. You mentioned webinars. I do estate planning 101 webinars on a regular basis. I'll partner with you guys. We'll put one on as a 30-minute webinar. You can call your database up and say, hey, I noticed your home's not in a trust. The reason I'm calling is I wanted to let you know I'm going to be co-hosting an estate planning webinar in 2 weeks. Is it okay if I send you an invitation? Would love to see you there. You can log in from the comfort of your home. You're going to learn a whole bunch of great information and then leave it at that. Again, you know this, Robert. I don't sell, I educate. There's no hard sales. There's no salesy aspect of it. This is real life. This is things that everyone needs. And that's why I'm excited to deliver this process.
Well, you know what, Tim? First of all, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and there's nobody better. So everybody listening to this, reach out to Tim. He will make you look good every single time. But one thing I wanted to point out is inviting your database, because number one, and Carla just put in Ryan Lipsey with Tycor's information in the chat box. If you need a good title rep, his information's in the chat. He will be able to get you the list. But you want to reach out to your database, and if they don't have a living trust, you're not selling a living trust. You're inviting them to hear if it's something that could benefit them.
Totally.
Everything we do is coming from contribution. We're giving them tools. We're not coming off with commission breath and salesy. That's not how things work. That's not genuine. We want to come in there and say, listen, I noticed a lot of my clients, matter of fact, 9 out of 10 of my clients do not have a living trust. Here's a story that happened to somebody I know that because they didn't have a living trust, they had to go through probate, had to do all these different things. Let me introduce you to Tim Yates. We're going to do a webinar on whatever date you put together. We can co-host it with you as highlighting the agent with their database and help them explain exactly what's going on. Once you see the value in that and you go through Tim's training, it's very simple. Be a resource for your clients, guys. And I'm telling you what, this is a huge circle of influence hack. So you need to get out there, reach out to your database. And what else do you want to add to what's going on with reaching out to your database?
Well, we like we mentioned, it's kind of layered. We have that closing gift opportunity. Here's the holidays here. The other thing too, you guys, this is a big one. I launched a program this holiday season to help 100 families. Okay. So what we're doing is I've actually created a link where you could actually offer an estate plan for anybody, and it's for married people and single. It encompasses everything for $3.99. It's first come, first serve. It's the first 100 families to help, but that is something that we are coming together as a community to reach out to help more people, help 100 people. So it's an ultimate holiday gift, the ultimate closing gift we talked about. We also talked about the estate planning 101 webinar. And then finally, I see Lawrence, I think he has a certified probate specialist designation. So we have something that we've also, and that's fantastic, by the way. I love that. We've created another type of designation too, basically called the Legal Document Assistant LDA designation. This is part of our training too. So if someone that I'm working with wanted to take their business to another level and actually start to earn an additional income stream through offering not just estate planning services, but we are launching, we talked about divorce. Okay. So we have family law, we have business, we encompass a lot of things within our company, and we're launching a lot of new services within our firm, which again are going to be affordable for everybody. It ranging from prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, uncontested divorce cases, all those kind of good things. But we're offering this training program, which is fantastic. So it's like being a certified probate specialist on steroids times 10. So it would fit perfectly within a designation. And again, it's a free program. It's a great training program. As you know, Robert, you've been in it. It's easy. It's online. We do it. We meet once a month. And we have our amazing training attorney on the call with us who helps guide and shape things for us. But it's just, it encompasses a lot of different areas to be in a partnership and in a relationship with me, our firm, and within your businesses as well.
I love it. I tell you what, I love it. And Lawrence, we're coming back to you here in 1 second, brother. But I tell you, Tim, that's huge. And all we need to do is reach out to our database. I mean, I like those numbers. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. 9 out of 10 homeowners don't have living trust. If you reach out to your clients and explain some of the features and benefits of having a live-in trust, that is where the magic happens. So I'm telling you what, this is a great system. Tim, thanks for bringing that up. I know you got to go soon, but I want to keep you on as long as I can. Lawrence, let's go back to you. What else do we want to talk about in terms of sphere of influence? Because I know when I reach out to my database, I become top of mind. When I reach out to them with value added tools and value added services, I'm on top of mind. It never fails when and I got to be honest with you, I don't do it as religiously as I should. I'm just like everyone else. It's something that Carla's helping me with just reaching out to him, send him a quick message, thinking about you, whether it be Veterans Day yesterday, a quick video, Lawrence, that was powerful. A quick reminder of what some of the things we're doing. But what happens when you become top of mind, whether it be a living trust or whatever you're doing? By the way, one of my employees is selling their triplex. Those are the conversations that are fostered because of that follow-up call. That person that you're following up with, that circle of influence, may not need real estate services right now, but it triggers them. People like to help. When you give them value, they want to give value back. Hey, Robert, I don't have any real estate services right now, but one of my employees has a triplex he's going to be selling here pretty soon. Can I put you in contact with him? Yes, right? So I'm telling you what, if you don't do anything, obviously you want to call FSBOs, expired, pre-foreclosures. You need to spend some time in your circle of influence, have a conversation, get their birthdays, get their anniversaries, get their favorite color, get their favorite restaurant, get the things that matter, find out who their favorite teams are, everything you can. Like, I know Lawrence loves the Dodgers. As soon as they won, the first thing I did is I text Lawrence, congratulations. And he was stoked. He's at his highest peak. He's super excited. His team just won the World Series. And I was top of mind at that point. So my point is, I have a buddy that's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm a Charger fan. But every time they win, I send him a text, nice game today, almost like he's on the team. So you got to find out things like that matter. So Lawrence, let's dive in a little deeper on sphere of influence while we still have a little bit of time.
Yeah, sure. So basically, great info. I mean, I didn't. Tim, thanks for those nuggets right there, because I wrote a lot of that down, and I am gonna register. I wanted to ask Tim really quick, the 499. If we give that as a gift, because I bought TVs, refrigerators, dishwashers, you name it, as closing gifts, right? Hammers, whatever. But you're right. Majority of those things get put away and forgotten about, right? The 499, what does that cover for my client?
Yeah, that's great. It gives them absolutely everything they need. So when we list it out, so here's the thing too, education wise. There will be people that will go online and they'll say, oh my gosh, I can do my will, or I can do my trust. I can go to like a legal Zoom. And, there's a lot of online, components now. It wasn't that long ago where people had one option only. You had to go to an attorney's office. You had to pay whatever thousands of dollars that they wanted to charge you. And that's what you had to deal with. Now with the internet, people can go on and find ways to do it themselves. But here's what the problem is. When they find these deals online, it usually only encompasses one or two legal documents within an estate plan. And what I mean by that is when we create an estate plan, it's multiple legal documents in one plan. So when we create it and they get a 125-page document, they're kind of like, one, they're intimidated, but we do a review with them. So but they can't believe how thorough it is, because what we decided to do is not to do a la carte pricing. So we make sure that when we sell an estate plan, it's a full revocable living trust package. And what that means is that they're going to get everything they would get if they spent $8,000 for the same thing. They're going to get their living trust, where they can put all of their assets into the trust to protect it. They're going to get their pour over wills. They're going to get their healthcare directives, power of attorney, HIPAA waivers, guardianship if they have children that are under the age of 18. And then we also do the quitclaim deeds to transfer their real estate holdings into the trust. So they're getting the whole kit and caboodle. And that's the other thing too. Sometimes I'll have some people say, oh, Tim, If we charge $9.95 for a married couple, this happened actually last week. I had a couple that called me up. I did a presentation with them like this. They called me and said, "Hey, we found it for $6.95, online." I said, "Oh, that's great. You found it great. Does it include all of these things?" And they're like, "Oh, actually, it didn't include the power of attorney or the healthcare directives." Oh, okay. Do you see what I'm saying? So from the standpoint of this, when you are offering an estate plan through us, they're getting everything they could possibly need and want from a legal standpoint within those documents.
Got it.
That's,
Okay,
that's
that's
huge.
great. And the reason for me asking that because I like to give those type of things to my clients instead of the refrigerators, the stoves, and all this. Even though they probably can use that more, but that's more valuable, I
Well,
believe.
well
Not,
not yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean not
but
not only that though. It's called a living trust because it's a living, breathing document. So that means is that it gives you constant point of contact with that client for life, meaning that is this. Let's say you purchased it as a gift for one of your clients. Well, if my firm reaches out to them 2 years from now and asks, "Hey, do you need any updates or anything like that?" The first thing our notes are going to see is Lawrence King. "Oh, by the way, hey, have you talked to Lawrence lately?" It's that whole relationship aspect of top of mind. So we can work in tandem throughout the life of that person, kind of that 1-2 punch. Same thing for you, though. You can call them up because when people have life changes, they need to update their documents. It's the most important thing because I've seen this happen time and time again. I've been doing this for a long time now. People get an estate plan done, but they don't update their documents. And then something happens, especially on the real estate side of it. If someone owns 5 properties, sometimes they put the first property primary into the trust, but then they buy other properties for whatever reason, they didn't put those other properties into the trust. Guess what happens upon their passing? Those other properties go into probate. So it's another component of being involved in that relationship. And it's the greatest excuse ever. I'd never have a problem calling somebody up 5 years from now and say, "Hey, what's going on? Have you had any life updates? Do we need to do any updates on your trust?" And again, our updates too are extremely affordable. That's the other thing too. People get hammered when they go back to a traditional one person estate planning lawyer that's been doing it for 25 years, charging $4,000 or $5,000. You want to update that thing, they're gonna charge you another $1,500 to update your successor trustees. Versus if they ended up working with us, we could do the same update for probably $150. So, and we're not sacrificing anything. We have attorneys, my wife, we have attorney reviews. Like I said, we're combining the best of both worlds. We've got attorneys, we've got support staff, and we've got technology. And honestly, when people sometimes ask me at a business, how do you guys do this? We make up for our margins and just mass volume. We are helping more families, but we're not even scratching the surface yet. I need to get into 1,000 relationships tomorrow with agents so we can all build our businesses together and watch these things grow. So, and then maybe we'll start making a scratch in that number as far as the number of probate cases that we want to lower that number.
huge
Yeah,
reason.
and one thing to remember is when you're reaching out and giving those value added services, you're always staying in touch with your clients. And one thing I do with my clients is I have a contact sheet of service providers, title, escrow, lender. I want them to review and go to that preferred vendor list. So they go to the folks that I've referred them to because they're fully vetted. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with me because if I give them a roofer that does a terrible job, guess who they're coming at is me. They're going to say, "Hey, that roofer didn't do a good job. I need to know that so I can take them off the list or find out what happened." But at the end of the day, you train your customers, you train your database to be an extension of you. So anytime, it's almost like they can't even make a decision for themselves. What they're thinking about painting the fence. Let me call Robert and see what he thinks. And maybe they want to do it themselves, but they want ideas on what kind of fence. You want to be the go-to guide for your clients. It's almost like I said, where they can't even make a decision on their own. You want to be that person. So, Lawrence, what do you got to say about that?
So, well, I was going to include that, majority of the times I've started using like Amazon, for instance. Amazon allows you to send a scheduled gift card, digital gift card with a video of you or of whatever you want on there. It's normally me saying, "Hey, just want to wish Robert you a happy birthday today." Right? Click the link below. Right? But now with Tim's idea, right? I can send that type of gift card to them directly for estate planning,
Yep.
right? So that is because I'm doing that for my past clients, their kids' birthdays. I send like little gift my A's, and that's another thing that you'll learn on Sphere of Influence on our mastermind is how to label your leads that are in here, your sphere. How to label the ones that's actually going to refer you business in the future. Those are considered your A's. The ones that probably used you once and never probably use you again. Those are your D's. You don't want them in your system, right? So that's another thing we cover, and that's on that link too that I included as well. So that's you guys gave me a lot of good ideas for outreach now. So I'm just going to add that to my annual outreach, right?
Hence the mastermind, my friend.
Especially with the trust that people already have and following up in 5 years, because the people that don't have the property in the trust and you call them about it, hey, you ever thought about putting 123 Main Street in the trust? No, Lawrence, we're about to sell.
Boom.
Oh, really? Right? Oh, we
Let's
were going to
talk.
sell. We've been to call you. We was going to call you next week, but we're thinking about selling, right? So it's another good reason to reach out to the people that don't have a trust or estate planning at all.
And
So
again, the biggest thing, Lawrence, I remember 9 out of 10 don't have one. So the odds of you getting a hold of one of your clients that has one are low. So you're going to bring something that they certainly can use. And if you give it to them as a gift, oh man, it's like a lead hug. You're getting them completely dialed in.
this gives me a good reason to reach out this week,
Amen,
right?
brother. I get it. Well, good. Let's do this. Both of you, Tim. Anything else to add before we go to Q&A?
No, like I said, I'm looking forward to, really the next steps is to start to work with Robert and I I put a link in there. We have a basic questionnaire that we, ask that you guys fill out. It just gives me an opportunity to get a little sense of who you are, a little bit about your business, stuff like that. Your information's secure. We're not selling it to anybody. It's just really to gauge partnerships. So if anybody's interested, just click on that link, fill it out. Once they get it, we'll jump on a call and we'll actually get to know each other, and we can start to immediately launch things that you need, whether you need scripts to call your sphere or whatever. We've got a lot of things created for you already that we can give you in Word documents that you can tweak to your own verbiage. So I'm excited to get started.
I love it. Lawrence, anything else to add before we go to Q&A?
Reach out to your sphere, your past clients. The worst thing you could possibly see is somebody in your sphere that just purchased a new home
You
without
know,
you.
you know what's even worse than that is
What's
when they
that?
call you because they've had a problem with the new home they bought, not through you. Robert, I just bought a home.
That
I
is the
had a
worst.
question. I go, you bought a home? Well, yeah, we walked in and talked to the builder, or we walked into an open house. If you don't stay in touch with their database, somebody else is. This call today was specifically designed as a mind jogger to remind you to reach out to your database, reach out to your sphere of influence. Of course, the lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree. Let me repeat: FISBO, expired, pre-foreclosure, attorneys, accountants, your power partners. That's huge. You got to reach out to them. Your living trust folks, Tim Yates. You got to reach out to those folks. But more importantly, stay in touch or someone else is going to. Any questions for Tim or Lawrence before we get them out of here?
I just want one more comment.
Go
You
ahead.
mentioned the fact that calling the database and hearing, oh yeah, no, we're going to be selling. Hey, do you need a living trust? No, we're going to be selling. Okay, great. Listing opportunity. All right. When do you want to get the paperwork going? Right. But here's the deal. What happens though is when we call our clients on a regular basis just to check in with them. If I call somebody and they say, yeah, Tim, actually, I'm glad you called because we're thinking of selling. And then all I have to do is, and on my screen, I can see, okay, this was a Lawrence referral. So the first thing I'm going to say is, oh, great. Have have you called Lawrence yet? You guys, communicating with that. It's another way to do that. The other thing to do too is if someone says, I'm thinking of selling, and I can see in my notes that this was never a referral from one of my agent partners, and I know what area they're in, I'm going to say, hey, listen, have you hired a broker yet to handle your listing? Well, actually, we're interviewing people right now. Hey, listen, I have a wonderful partner that specializes in your area. Would you do me a favor and allow him or her to do a listing presentation with you guys, because he's fantastic. So is that something that I could arrange for you? Yeah, sure. Guess what? Call Lawrence. Hey man, I got your listing presentation. You get that listing, dude, you're gonna love me even more. And I know that's just how this relationship thing goes back and forth. So it's really a partnership that builds our businesses, well moving forward.
I love it. So in closing, Lawrence, what would you like to say to the audience that's either on this call, listening on our YouTube channel or Spotify? What would you like to say to those folks tuning into today's More Listings Mastermind?
Mainly to make sure you're constantly reaching out and touching on your sphere, because that's where majority of your business is coming from. It's not coming from people that don't know you online. You're not just getting phone calls blowing you up. It's everybody that knows and likes you.
I love it. I love it. The people that know, love, and trust you are going to send you business, and they're going to be able to refer you business as long as you show them the way to do it. Thank you, Lawrence, for being on. Tim Yates, what would you like to say to the folks that are tuning in today?
I mean, honestly, Lawrence said it perfectly. Everything is about relationships. We live in a world where they think the easy path is to put up posts on social media and to do all that stuff. But the reality of it is no matter how great this technology is, and I love this. I love that I can develop relationships with people this way. I've done that for years now. But the reality of it, it's about that relationship. You got to bring something of value. And that's the truth in the world. Bring something of value to help others. I believe we're put here to help other people. We have our own skill sets. So let's not sit back and wait. Let's be proactive with the people we know, and let's get to know the people that they know through that. Keep growing your database through one person to another, to another, to another. And that's really the secret of it. I have a whole database building component that I won't get into right now, but it's definitely something that I think will benefit all of us.
Well, amen, brother. I appreciate you both for being on. For those of you that are on this call, those of you that are listening to our YouTube channel or listening to on Spotify, don't just survive in real estate, thrive. If you'd like to book a 30-minute strategy session, I encourage you to do so. Here's the QR code. Reach out to me. Let's take a look under the hood of your business. I can put you in contact with Tim or Lawrence or any of the other folks on this call. We want to help you grow your business. So with that said, this is Robert Weichelt. I want to thank Lawrence King and Tim Yates for being our guests today. Thank you so much to my bride, Carla, for manning the chat box. I appreciate you, dear. And it's our pleasure to serve. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Use this QR code. Let's take a look under the hood. And thanks again for tuning in to the More Listings Mastermind. And we'll see you in escrow.